Hey everybody, it's your Gay Sports Fanatic. We are here sitting looking at college football week 13. So the only word I have for this situation is chaos, total chaos. I like that the playoff has went to 12 teams, no problem with that. But this is, if you think this solves the problems that were there with a 4-team playoff, it's going to get even crazier as we move down the line here because somebody that really deserves to be in the top 12 is not going to get in, and that's because of these conference seedings of champions in the top 4 seeds. So I'm looking at you, Big 12 and ACC. But anyway, so let's jump in with the top 12. My top 12 is going to be different than this committee's. Let's just get that out of the way. I'm looking solidly at every team who they've played. Yes, I do look at their record, but I really look at who they've played. So let's jump in here. Number one on my list, I'm leaving them there, but with a asterisk. I barely kept them there. That's Oregon. Barely beat. Lucky to get out of Madison last Saturday against a Wisconsin team that has no offense, essentially. But they did win. So let's leave Oregon at number one for now. Number two is a team that I think might be next to number three in a second here. I think the best team in the country right now. That's Ohio State. They just look solid to me at this point. I know they lost at Oregon, so I have to put Oregon at number one ahead of them. But I'm not feeling that so much, and I may switch this out coming up. Next is Georgia at number three, toughest schedule in the nation. Went to Texas, killed them, beat Clemson bad, and then now took care of Tennessee. Georgia has punched their ticket in to the top 12. They play nobody the last 2 games. They have Georgia Tech. They're done with their SEC schedule. They got out of it at 6-2. Georgia is a solid 3. Count them in. Number 4, Notre Dame. Played a fairly decent schedule. They play Army this Saturday, but they played a fairly decent schedule. They beat Texas A&M on the road. So let's remember that, okay? Notre Dame, who's just been getting better and better and better every single week. Notre Dame, number 4. Number 5, team I saw in person last Saturday is Texas. I wasn't super impressed, but you know what? They got out of there with a W. That's all that matters. I'm going to put Texas in at 5 right now. Number 6, Penn State. Yeah, I like Penn State. Only one loss. It wasn't a bad loss to Ohio State, but Penn State hasn't played anybody. I think their schedule is like 65th ranked in strength in all of the college football. Penn State just really has not played any. They have no signature wins. So I'm putting them in at 6 based on their record, and they're just the one loss they had, which is totally excusable. Number 7, Alabama. Look, again, very tough schedule. They lost, I know, to Vanderbilt. Actually, Vanderbilt's not all that bad. Give me Alabama at 7. Number 8, Indiana. Now, this is a team we're going to know all about this Saturday. They go into Columbus, they play Ohio State. I'm going to be watching that one because I want to really see what this team is made out of. Indiana has played, I believe I read the 103rd toughest schedule in college football. So in other words, they haven't played anybody, and they haven't. They have no signature wins at all. But they are undefeated, and you got to give them credit for that. They are 10-0. So we'll see what Indiana's got this Saturday in about the toughest test you could get at Columbus. Indiana 8. Number 9, Ole Miss. Talk about getting hot when you need to. That's this Ole Miss team. I like Ole Miss at number 9. Again, this whole SEC is a mess. Number 10, I'm putting Tennessee in. I know they have 2 losses. They're not bad losses. Losing to Georgia, that's not a bad. Tennessee has also played a fairly tough schedule. Put them in at number 10. Number 11, I'm going to the SEC again. Another team with just a 2-loss team, 1-loss team in the SEC. That's Texas A&M. 1-loss SEC team, you've got to put them in. And then number 12, I'm leaving them in as SMU. Okay, do I know how good SMU is? Really? No. Do I really believe that SMU can go up against the big boys on this list? No, I don't. Maybe they'll prove me wrong. Like I said, they're a great story. So anyway, that's the top 12, my top 12 going into the week here. So I've done, pretty good at predicting these games through the season. As against the spread, I might add too. So, hey, I think this top 12's pretty solid. You may ask, well, where's BYU? Where's Miami? Well, BYU hasn't played anybody, and they got beat by nobody last Saturday. They really didn't win the game week before against Utah. BYU out. Miami, same story. They lost. The one loss to nobody. They played nobody and out. However, both of them very well could end in the top 4 seeds. So, anyway, like I said, chaos. So let's get into now looking at my picks for week 13. You can see in my thumbnail how I'm doing on my picks. Stuck with me on my picks, if you're a better, you'd make some money. But we'll see how I do this week here. So let's start off with a biggie, okay? Let's just go right to the gorilla in the living room, and that's Indiana, undefeated Indiana at Ohio State. Now, Indiana, for being a 10-0 team, is getting 10 and a half points. I mean, that's a lot when you're ranked as high as they are and haven't lost a game. However, the problem is they're at Ohio State. And I'll tell you what, Indiana, come on and surprise me, okay? I mean, I'm waiting to be surprised because I've told you I don't have a lot of faith in you so far. I just don't. You haven't beat anybody. But let's see what you do this Saturday. I'm open-minded. However, I don't think it's going to happen. I'm taking Ohio State, and I'm giving away the 10 and a half. Next up is Alabama at Oklahoma. Oklahoma, welcome to the SEC. Are you having a good time? I don't think this is going to work out well for Alabama at Oklahoma. It's not going to work out well for Oklahoma is what I mean. Alabama's giving away 13 and a half. I like Alabama, and I'm going to throw away the points. Number 3 is Texas A&M at Auburn. Now, Texas A&M is only a 2.5-point favorite against Auburn, which surprised me a little bit. I thought that would be a higher point spread. I like Texas A&M here solidly to win. They got a big game against Texas next week. I don't think they'll overlook this game. Give me Texas A&M, throw away the 2.5. Next, we have Vanderbilt at LSU. I would not want to be playing LSU this week. I don't know if you saw Saturday night, the discord on the sidelines between Brian Kelly and some of his players. And this is a team, there's a lot of anger there, but I think that anger could be channeled onto the field. I just wouldn't want to touch LSU the rest of this year, frankly. So we've got Vanderbilt at LSU. They're down in Death Valley. LSU is giving away 7.5. Vanderbilt's pretty good, but I like LSU. Give away the 7.5, and they're looking to beat up on somebody. Next up, we have Iowa State at Utah. Two teams that are, Iowa State still has a chance, by the way, to be a top 4 seed out of the Big 12. That's how weak the Big 12 is. They still have a shot to do it. So that tells you a lot about the Big 12 conference. So Iowa State's still playing for something here, but they're going to Utah. Utah's getting 6.5. I like Utah. I don't know if they'll win this game, but I think it's going to be closer than this. Give me Utah and the 6.5. Next up is Penn State at Minnesota. Minnesota's not as bad. And you hear a lot about them, but they're really not that bad of a team. They don't have much of a home advantage for whatever reason. They're not like the Vikings. They just don't seem to draw the energy. But anyway, Penn State is a 13.5-point favorite at Minnesota. I like Minnesota to stay within 13.5. So give me Minnesota and give me 13.5 points. Last but not least, we've got Colorado, who, yes, is simmering underneath the surface for me on this top 12. They're right there. I want to see a little more. They're going against a Kansas team that knocked off BYU last week. I don't know if that's a reflection or beat BYU. I don't know if that's a reflection of how good Kansas is. I think it's more of a reflection of how weak BYU really is. But anyway, Colorado is at Kansas. Again, here's a surprise spread, too. Colorado is only giving away 2.5 points. That's it. That's not a lot when you consider all the publicity and how Colorado's kind of been playing lately. I'm going to stick with Colorado and the Buffaloes to keep on moving here. So I like Colorado and give away the 2.5. So you guys, that's my top 12. Those are my picks. I've been doing pretty good on my picks. Let's see if I can keep this train on the tracks here. So be sure to like, comment, and of course, subscribe if you want to get a notification of all these little videos that I do for you. So you guys enjoy your Saturday of college football, and we'll see you next week. Thanks a lot.